Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video. So a few months ago, I installed an aftermarket transmission cooler into my Tacoma here. I've had a lot of questions about it, and so finally we had the ability to test it while we were towing my fifth wheel trailer to go camping. During the summer, we saw no hotter than 190 degrees at the transmission. But we really wanted to put it under a load so that we could see how well it performed. My truck has the tow package, so it does have a factory transmission cooler. And in order to install this one, we just tapped into those lines and added it in with maintaining the use of the factory cooler. If we need to, we could remove it really easily. And so I have gotten a lot of questions about the cooler. So in this video, we got to test it out. And here's some footage of what the temps were like while we were driving. So we're on a long pull up a hill right now. You can see that we're doing about 45 in both areas. 45 miles per hour, 4,500 RPM. I don't like to push it much more than that, because the engine's already screaming, and then once it upshifts, you can see that we lose a lot of speed, so it's best just to keep it right here. And here's the transmission temps. This is what they are currently. The transmission cooler does seem to be making a bit of a difference. I have the fan in override. So once it shifts again, once it upshifts, the trans torque temperature does drop pretty quick. The trans pan temperature is staying lower than it was last year without the transmission cooler. Last year, I think it creeped up to about 245, and the highest I've seen it with the trans cooler this year is about 230. But again, that's during high RPMs, during long pulls. But for the most part, it is definitely making a difference. I do have ECT power on. I tend to use that while I'm towing the trailer when I remember, because I don't always remember. So this is the last pull that we have to take uphill, driving up to our campsite. We're on the 260 northeast of Payson, and this is the steep grade that goes up to the top of the Mogollon Rim. I mean, look at this out there. So here's the temps that we're looking at on the pull. The outside temperature is 68 degrees. Hopefully you can see that. There's a lot of sunflower. I know that. But here's the temp that we're looking at. The left number has never gotten above 230 degrees this year. The right number starts creeping up when the torque converter is locked in and high RPMs pulling like this. But we're getting to the top right now. As the transmission shifts back up, you'll be able to see the temps drop. We're just passing the turnoff for Woods Canyon Lake, if you know where that's at. And as you can see, once it upshifts, the temps drop pretty much immediately. So it is definitely evident to me that the transmission cooler is making a difference. Although I don't have any footage from last year, I can definitely see a huge difference. So nice. Go from desert and 100 and some odd degrees to forest, and we're looking at a high of maybe 82 on this trip. So we're on the outskirts of the valley right now, headed home. We're getting close to Fountain Hills, if you know where that's at, Bush Highway, to go to Saguaro Lake in Arizona. Unlike the drive up where it was 75 degrees, we are seeing 93 degrees. The engine temp is right where it always is, right in the center. And our transmission temps are right where they should be. They've been lower than they have on the drive up. Granted, there's more downhill. It's 20 degrees hotter. The hottest I've seen on the drive home was 225 for the Transpan, and then 245 for the torque converter, which is definitely an improvement. Last year we saw like 245, 248 on the Transpan, and then like 258 on the torque converter. Okay, you can see we're doing 70 miles an hour. It's 100 degrees outside. Engine temperature is still in the same spot. And here's our transmission temperatures. So in those first clips, we were driving up to the Mogollon Rim to go camping. It was early in the morning, so the temps were not nearly as hot. But on the drive down, it was during the day and going back into Phoenix, so the temperatures were higher. But I have noticed the transmission cooler making a big difference. We're seeing temps that are significantly lower than they were last year. Last year, we saw, I think, a high of 258 degrees. And this year, we are seeing temps that are lower. I have also been asked how I keep an eye on my transmission temps, and this is how I do it. This is an ultra gauge, and that's how I keep an eye on my transmission temps. Now, my fifth wheel is not as big as you think. It's about 23 feet. It weighs 4,500 pounds empty with a GVW of 6,700 pounds. But it's still not a small, light trailer. You do feel it back there. I can still do about 45 miles an hour up steep grades. I would probably go a little faster, but I don't like having the RPMs higher than like 4,500. So I'm fine with doing about 45. That's no big deal to me. So if you are looking to do an aftermarket transmission cooler, this one is a great option. It was super easy to install, and you can check out that video of how I installed it, as well as the parts list there. And so if you are needing to maintain some cooler transmission temps, this is a fantastic option. If you have any other ideas, or if you've done anything else, go ahead and leave comments in the description. We'd like to see what you did. Also, if you're wondering, I did not pin the transmission open. There's a thermostat at the transmission that you can pin to open up the coolant lines to have the transmission fluid flowing all the time. I did not for this drive. I have the ability to, but for these purposes, I did not. So I guess we're gonna go ahead and wrap this one up here. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comment section, and we'll catch you on the next one. See ya.